How's it going, everybody? It's me, your favorite custodian, and today we're just gonna take a look at Donny Cates' Thor, Volume 3. This one specifically, and spoiler alert, I thought this one was really boring. I didn't like this one compared to the other two, and we're actually halfway through the series. There are 6 volumes, and this is the third one, and it's probably the worst one, I would say personally. But let's just get into it quickly. Anyway, this happens after the events of the whole Donald Blake stuff, where he tries to kill all of Asgard and anybody with like Asgardian power. Blah 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 blah. All the Asgardians are happy, and now they're partying and stuff. Not Thor. He's still depressed with the whole Thanos stuff because he's still having those nightmares, and now his hammer is kind of going, weird. All the enchantments that Odin put on it is basically gone. So now it's really heavy for him, but for anybody else, they could just pick it up. And it's also just kind of throwing itself at anybody, especially at him. So Thor tells Loki not to tell anybody this is happening, because if he does, people would think he's not fit to be ruler, especially since, the whole worthy to be Thor to, wield the hammer and all that other stuff. Loki doesn't want to at first, but, just does it so anyway. And so after that, Thor goes to the Avengers, helps him out, kills like these monsters, which was pretty cool. There's one cool scene when he just used lightning to kill all of them out of nowhere, and that was really sick. After that, he talks with Captain America about like the whole hammer stuff, and tells him not to tell anybody else, and that he'll be leaving the hammer in Avengers Mountain. That's a really stupid idea, Thor. Don't do that. Yeah, I didn't like that whole decision of him just leaving his hammer out in the open where anybody could get it, especially in Avengers Mountain, a mountain that's been attacked multiple times in comics. But anyway, Thor does the stupid decision and leaves it there. And then he goes talks with his friend Jane Foster, who's also the new Valkyrie, if you didn't watch the old video. And they start talking about, the hammer stuff and, the Donald Blake stuff. And then they beat up some bad guys who try to rob a bank. And, it's pretty cringe for the most part because Thor talks like a regular person to eat a hot dog. And I didn't like that one so bit. That's probably the worst part of that entire issue. Afterwards, he gets called by his dad to visit him. So he goes to his dad and just like, yo, what the hell do you need me for? And Odin is just like, what are you talking about? I didn't call you. You called me. And then they get attacked by monsters. They fight the monsters. And then his mom shows up, Freya, who's just like, why are you guys here? Also, Freya is the new god of the hunts. That's a whole thing. After she left Odin, she was originally the god of fertility and marriage, but I guess she didn't want to be that because, her marriage didn't really end well, if you know what I mean. After that, turns out that Angela, his sister, was the one who called them. Angela, if you don't know, is Thor's older sister that Odin had before he had Thor and Loki. Also, fun fact about Angela, she was also a Spawn character from Image Comics. She was created by Neil Gaiman, who also sued Image Comics because he wanted that character for himself. And then he promptly sold the character to Marvel. It's a whole thing. I don't want to talk about it all, but I thought that was really funny. Anyway, they talk a little bit. Odin's just like, I don't want to be here. Why'd you call me? And Andrew's just like, because it's all your fault, old man, for all of this shit happening. And then she's like to Thor, hey, you also need to get your shit together, or else I'm going to take the throne. And Thor's just like, bitch, I would like to see you try. And they look like they're about to fight. But Freya manages to hold them off, and she's like, hey, you guys shouldn't be fighting. And Angela's just like, yeah, you're right. Hey, Odin, come with me. So Angela takes Odin to like this space gladiator ring and makes him fight monsters. So that's pretty funny. Meanwhile, with Thor and Freya, they have a little emotional moment, and it's pretty cute. I like that part a lot. They basically just, certify their love for each other, and that Thor misses his mom, and she missed him as well. And it's really nice to see. But it ends with Thor's hammer being taken after he gets called by Cap. So yeah, his hammer is now stolen, and that's the end of the volume. Obviously, there's a little side story with Throg, who is like the Thor frog that I talked about before. He unites a bunch of animals to create an Animals Avengers, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, that's basically the whole volume for the most part. As I said before, I didn't really like it that much. I thought it was really boring. It's a quick read, like you can read it in probably like an hour maybe. And yeah, there's not a lot of happens other than like some cute moments with him and his mom and his hammer obviously being stolen, which leads into the next volume, which is actually a really good volume. And it's the last volume that Donny Cates fully writes because of a thing that happened that I will tell you about later in the next video. But yeah, overall, I'll give this one a 6.5 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's just really boring. And there's not a lot of stuff that happens in it. And the art isn't as good as the other art in the rest of the series. Yeah, but that's it. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the rest of the stuff, and I'll see you next time.